Welcome back, everyone. Well, my next guest is not someone you meet every day. This incredible lady made a career in financial services as a planner and then went on to business consulting before semi-retirement. You could say she was lured out of retirement because of her heart for family, and she used her skills, knowledge, and talents to venture back into entrepreneurship, but this time as a board game creator. And her name is Kyoko Yoshizumi. Kyoko is the founder of Geia Gamers, and I have to say that when I first heard her story and how the idea for the board game came about, I was blown away by the sheer level of creativity, ingenuity, and gumption it took to deliver and embark on a project such as this. But speaking with Kyoko in person, I learned the truth behind her creation and what it took for her emotionally and mentally to bring it to life. Folks, this is one story you're going to want to take notes on. Kyoko inspired me and moved me to tears with the example that she's setting for her kids as someone who can promise something she doesn't know how to deliver, and then she moves heaven and earth to make it happen. It's an incredible story, so tune in. Well, welcome back, everyone. I am delighted. Today, I have the beautiful Kyoko Yoshizumi with me, and we are talking imposter syndrome. So if you've been following this podcast, you know that I've been delving deep into the subject of imposter syndrome, looking at women across the multicultural landscape of Australia, so we can get a really diverse input and feedback around what imposter syndrome is for women from across the country. And it's been really interesting. I've been learning a lot, and a lot of it has come down to, we have this imposter syndrome definition. So if you haven't heard the definition of imposter syndrome, or you're tuning in for the first time, it's defined as a fear of exposure, and usually related to either feeling like a fraud, or feeling like you're not good enough, or feeling that you're going to be found out in some way. And it manifests in many different ways. So for some people, there's 5 different types of imposters, as according to Valerie Young, who did this massive study. And let me go through them. So we've got the perfectionist, we've got the expert, there's the superwoman, which many women, particularly mothers, will relate to. What else is there? There's the soloist, and there's one other, but it's escaping my thoughts right now, so I'll probably come back to that. And all of these different dimensions of the imposter archetypes actually talk about how that then manifests. So for instance, the expert archetype is somebody that has to know everything about a particular topic. So they'll research to the hills before they actually present on that topic. And they probably know a lot about many different topics, because that's how that kind of archetype manifests. The thing to know about these archetypes are how you relate to success and how you relate to failure. So one of the questions I really love that Valerie sort of talks about in her book is coming back to those initial feelings of success or failure, and how you felt in those moments, what you did, and start to look at maybe the core of your imposter syndrome is connected to those very early feelings. So that's just a little bit about, this journey of imposter syndrome and what we'll be covering. But of course, I have Kyoko here with me today, and she's a phenomenal lady. Talk about imposter syndrome. I think I'm feeling a little bit of the imposter right now. Look, I came across your story actually through Johan, your husband, and through the work that he's doing with Comet Suite, and I was just blown away, which is why I've asked you to be here. And of course, done a little bit of stalking to find out a little bit about and I'll get into share in just a minute. But I can see that you're a serial entrepreneur, and that you've created this amazing. So you call yourself a board game publisher, but there's more to that story than that kind of lets on. So, over to you. I thank you so much for being here. And I'd love to hear about your history, like the different things that you've done in work and how you've got to become a board game publisher and what that was all about. And then we'll kind of delve in from there. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good, Jerry. Thank you. So my name is Kyoko. I'm from Japan, and I was born and raised in Japan. And I left Japan when I was 18 after my high school. I went to Wales in the UK to go to university, and after that I came to Melbourne to study and work and live. So that was in 2002. I guess my background is I always felt I'm different. I'm a bit, I don't fit in. And, back then to leave Japan as a woman, it was a big thing. But, I didn't really think I was young. I'm glad I did because, as we grow older, you think too much and you stop yourself.
Yeah.
So after I came to Australia, I was working for, different companies, working for travel agency, but I got fired from one of the jobs because, it was a travel industry that industry is shrinking. We had SARS, we had terrorist attacks, and, not many people are coming to Australia from Japan. So I had to take a redundancy. And then I thought about, okay, I cried, but I thought, okay, this may be a little push that I needed to do what I want to do. So I started my own cleaning company, started to, take on some self-development courses and workshops, and then realized my life is not about myself, but, sharing and having connections. So from that, I started a charity called Ask Australians Supporting Kids with a few of my friends, and we did a lot of fundraisers, and we went to Brazil and supported a school and families in Kenya, did a lot of stuff. And then I met a lot of people said, I really want to help you, but I don't have money or I don't have time to do a volunteer work like you. So I thought, okay, how can I help those people? And then I decided to be a financial planner. So I was being a financial planner for about 15 years before, 2 years ago, I sold the company and kind of got semi-retired, and then started a brand new company called Gaia Games, which publishes a board game. It actually has a behind me, or this one. So that's what's been happening. So I have done, being a financial planner, mortgage broker, business consultant. I had online memberships. I've done quite a lot of businesses. So that's my passion. I love it. I love helping people. I love getting into, just having fun with people, I think, and sharing my experience. That's what I have been doing.
Yeah.
But I guess it doesn't start like that from the start, does it? It's like always a struggle and, finding out who you are, what you're good at. So, I think my story is about finding what I like in my life and my purpose in life, still discovering that, and try to have fun in life. That's all about so far.
If you don't mind me just touching back, so you sold your business and you said you were semi-retired. I don't want to ask how old you are, but would it be fair to say you're under 40 when that happened?
No, I was mid-40.
Mid-40s. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, which is still amazing, right? Like to think that you've done it, you've sold your business, you don't have to work anymore and you can enjoy your family at that stage. I mean, that's just a phenomenal achievement. And anyone listening, like you said, it's really easy to be looking at you going, oh my God, she's just amazing and I could never do that. And, she doesn't have any problems. And so
it's all about overcoming challenges and problems, know, because
can you talk me through a little bit around your mindset for that? Because, problems and challenges are a prime place for the imposter syndrome to come up, right? Because that imposter is going to say, oh, it's too hard. I can't do this. It's not for me. I don't know enough, whatever it's going to be. Yeah. So how do you approach in your mindset these problems and challenges?
So my my background is that I accepted that I'm a bit different. I grew up in a kind of a cult, family environment when I was in Japan. So I couldn't do a lot of things that my friends could do. So I accepted I'm a bit different. And when and then I don't accept what it is either, right? So when I started to work for somebody as a financial advisor, I said to the boss, I like to work 10 to 4 because driving the peak hour traffic, taking an hour to get there when normally takes like 20 minutes is wasting my time. So I want to work from 10 so I can avoid the traffic and finish at 4 so I can get home before the peak traffic starts at 5. And you don't need to pay me. You can still give me the same expectation for the KPI, but that's what I like to do. And I wrote down all the plan that I have, how to, grow, study, how to get clients, all the plans. I showed it to him on a piece of paper. This is my plan, but I don't want to work 9 to 5 like other people. I like to work 10 to 4. So that was my plan. And a lot of people say, when I say that, they said, oh, that's not normal. It's like, well, what is normal? But normal doesn't work for me. Then what do? Don't you have a conversation with your job, boss and figure out if that works for you and for them? So I guess I always think, does this work for me? Is this the best scenario that I can create? And if not, I have a conversation. And then after 2 years of being a financial advisor, actually, I was a young Japanese girl, tried to sell a financial planning retirement plan for Australian retirees, right? So if it was this little girl, who's going to look after my retirement funding, it's like, oh, I don't know about that. So I couldn't really sell as a financial planner. A financial planner is actually a sales job. So my boss said, okay, sorry, Kyoko, but we love you. We think you are great, but you can't sell. We can't renew your contract. So I got fired, right? It's like, okay, what should I do? That's another challenge. And so I said, okay, but I love being a financial planner. I wanted to help people. That's why I became a financial planner. Yeah. I could not sell to Australians. That's my weakness because I'm young and the Japanese, not speaking English as the first language is okay. What is my strength? Strength is on the Japanese, young, like other Japanese people in Australia. So then I changed my focus to helping Japanese clients. That's when everything took off. And after a year, I started my own company. I bought those clients that I brought in that year and then started my financial planning business with 100 new clients.
Wow. So, I love that. And I want to draw out something that I hear very distinctly in that, right? Is that there was nothing wrong with you. Like there's nothing wrong with your skill. There's nothing wrong with your knowledge. There's nothing wrong with anything about what you're doing, right? And who you are. It's just like, and I see this all the time. You're in the wrong environment in the sense that you're trying to sell to the wrong environment, and if you don't understand how your environment kind of plays or, your ability to relate to people plays on your ability to be successful, you go around thinking that there's something wrong with you.
That's right. Right? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could allow your employer in that instance to make a projection about who you are, what you're capable of. And then you live inside of that for, for some people forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But sometimes your weakness can be a strength. That's what I got from that experience. So, if it doesn't work in that environment, change the environment and, find out what would work for you. So, it was great.
Excellent. So what were you dealing with? Like, what have you dealt with in your life where you felt that imposter syndrome come up? Like, when you did get fired, you had that conversation, did you find that you were having to grapple with?
Yes, like of course I'm not good enough, I like, if you think about it, you got fired, you could not sell, and then thinking, but I'm gonna take a chance. You don't need to pay me. You don't need to pay me any wage or income. I'm gonna try it for myself to see if I can make it work. It was a huge challenge for me.
Yeah.
And I don't have any parents. So I have to, pay for everything for myself, house and everything. So I just have to trust myself and, make it work. And I thought myself, I have to make this work. There is no option for me to fail. I have to make this work. What do I have to do to make it work? And every day it was about numbers and numbers and numbers. And what can I do to make it work? And when you focus on one thing, you put so much energy and focus that actually it comes out, you manifest it to be real. And it's the same thing, I guess, if you're focused so much on, calorie counting and making sure you are tracking everything, then you started to lose weight because you put so much focus on it, right? But if you have a doubt, you can't even take action because your mind and brains try to figure out and fight your own demon inside of you to fight against your worry and fear and stress. But leave that aside and just focus on what you have to do, and then I figured that you can make it work.
Yeah. So what are some tips or some strategies that you use to help yourself through those processes? Because I'm listening to you and I get the impression that you have a very strong mind, like a very, focused, disciplined kind of mindset, and I have no doubt you could achieve whatever you put your mind to. And for people who,
No,
like, how did you cultivate that? Like, how did you?
I guess self-development is a big thing.
Yeah.
And never stop learning about yourself and new things. Like not only, professionally learning about, financial planning or, mortgage broking, but also I've done multiple self-development courses, read some books, do meditation, some healings, I've done NLP, life coach. It's always about learning. So I believe, as a financial planner, people always ask me, well, where should I invest first? I only have $100 or $1,000, where should I invest? I said, okay, invest on yourself. Because it doesn't matter if you see a greatest opportunity or the biggest chance in your life, but if you don't have that mindset to take risks, take chance, and keep going, and then you fail. So investing in yourself is important, most important thing. And no one will have the perfect life. Always you find challenges and failures and disappointments, and it's like go up and down. It's like a 4 seasons or up and down. I believe when you go down, the bottom, how quickly you can get back up determines the quality of your life.
Yeah. So tell me about doing when you're, I don't mean to harp on this, but I have a feeling that people are going to come to this and they're going to listen to this and they're going to be in all different spaces and levels of awareness and understanding about themselves and their life, right? And I want to be able to give them some gold nuggets, as far as something that they can really hold on to and go, okay, yes, I can do that, So what kind of things? How can we do that way?
Everything is a learning. So when I'm bottom the bottom, I'm depressed and sad, I take time. It's okay for you to take time, right? Cry, scream, get depressed, eat a whole lot of ice cream, don't do anything, binge watch Netflix, whatever you want to do, right? It's okay. Give yourself that, space to cry and heal. And but then, I always think it's no point wasting my life, my time, staying all that stuff on the bottom, because whatever happened. It's not happening right now. Yeah, I got hurt, but do I want that to affect me for the rest of my life? It's a no. I want to have a good life. Yes. Would you have the good life and then stay in the bottom? So no. Okay. Then what do you have to do? Take that as a learning and then move on, right? So sometimes you see your friends or families, making the same mistake and same thing going, happening so many times, and you think, yeah, universe is giving you a sign. You haven't got that yet, right? You see that, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, I don't want to do that. What was a lesson? What the universe is telling me?
Right.
Did I get that? Did I get that? Yeah. I might make the same mistake again, but I know this time I understand, yeah, that was a mistake and I will never do that again. Sometimes it happens multiple times, but each time it's a lesson, right?
Yeah.
So I just take it as a lesson, and then just I'm a planner, as a financial planner, I love planning.
Yeah.
And don't just start running. Yeah, start running is good, but I guess having some kind of a next goal, milestone, is good, because if you achieve a small goal, you feel a bit better. Like today, I'm gonna go for a walk for 10 minutes. Find beautiful flowers and breathe outside it and feel a bit refreshed. If I can do that, big tick for me today.
Yeah.
Next day could be 15 minutes. Another day could be just say hi to some random strangers. Just have one goal, small goal. You started to take action and started to achieving little tiny goals. And then next thing I do is, okay, after a big failure, it's hard to think for the rest of your life. But what if, where do I want to be in 5 years' time? It may be hard to change my life in 1 year or 3 months. Yeah, sometimes you see YouTube videos like, hey, make millions in 3 months, right? So it may be hard in 1 year. But where do I want to be in 5 years? And then if I calculate backwards, what would I make me happy if I achieve one thing in this year?
Yeah.
That could be a bigger goal than just going for a walk for 10 minutes. But thinking about ideal 5-year goal, and then what do I want to achieve this year in order for that to happen? And in 5 years, you can make a lot of things happen. Even 3 years, you can totally change your life.
Yeah.
So I just start to focus on the life ahead of me rather than what happened in the back.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I heard this, I'm not going to get this completely correct, but you talked about the universe giving you signs and people repeating patterns, and it's a bit like, at first it sends you a feather, this little bit of feedback, and you ignore it, and then it sends you a brick and you ignore that, and then it sends you a bus, it completely flattens you out for you to pay attention. And I've seen people become completely flattened out and then still get back up and repeat, the same old stuff. So yeah, really being aware of those patterns, I think it's true. So I am dying to talk about this board game publishing that you what is board game publishing in general? What is that?
So this business is it has started last year in January when we were on the holiday. So my family, my husband, 2 kids, and then his cousin's family, his 2 boys and wife, we were on holiday in Rai, and we were, playing board games. You can see a lot of board games behind me. We do a lot of board games, having fun, and going to the beach, enjoying ourselves. And then we get a text message from another cousin of ours that's saying she's raising money for her daughter's cancer treatment. She was 3 years old and found out she had the cancer. So we had to, her mum was raising money for the research and treatment.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, it's our little kid, family member is suffering, and is there anything that we can do rather than just giving money? And our kids said, why don't we create a board game? And if we sell, we can make money and we can give it to, the little girl. Okay. And that's how it started. And we wanted to, my son said, oh, I want to make a ninja game. So I said, okay, all right, we'll do a ninja game. Okay, right, simple. So that's how this Ninjas Unleashed, this game came about.
Right, awesome. Yeah.
So it was a brand new industry. I never met anybody creates board games. I don't know how it works. It was totally different from whatever else that I did before.
Yeah.
To create a physical product, totally different from consulting, coaching, online memberships, nothing near it. So it was a huge challenge.
Abandoned was there,
yeah.
But you had a goal, like you had a purpose behind what you were doing.
Yeah. So we said, okay, we wanna make a game, and also it's a life legacy that we wanna make a difference.
Yeah.
And also when we had COVID and we could not go out, board game was the only thing. We had so much fun and we could stay home, be connected. It was a great way to connect and bring people together.
Yeah.
And rather than, online games, it's actually every time we have a board game night, we laugh so much that my cheeks always hurting. Right? So yeah, it's great. And my passion is through board games, we could transfer our knowledge to other people. It's like a cash flow, right? So Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book, but also there's a cash flow game. And by playing the game, you get the concept within an hour. Otherwise, you have to read a book or do the course, but it's a new way of learning. So I thought, okay, I want to make a lot of games for a lot of business, people. It's another way to transfer their knowledge to the masses. So I was very passionate, but because it was, new to me, we just didn't know what was acceptable and what was not.
Okay.
And
why are they important? What was acceptable and what was not?
So we used AI to create a lot of graphics. So we have in-house graphic designers and video guys, and we hired all these people, right? But then in order for us to create something out of nothing, AI was the easiest. And Midjourney came out, the ChatGPT came out. We embraced those new technologies and created a board game using a lot of that. And not really ChatGPT, but graphics especially. And I did not know, but board game industry, especially the designers, they spend hours and hours or days or months or years creating graphics and publishing one of those games, right? So for us to create a graphic within like that, it was not acceptable. So we were bullied big time.
Wow.
So when we do paid advertising on Facebook, people comment, leave negative comments. Or it's AI art, it's a stealing, it's this, it's that.
Wow.
And some people go to review page. There is a board game geek. That's everybody goes there to research about the board games. Some people who never played our game go there and rate 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a scam, we don't trust these people. I was like, oh my God, how do you try to sabotage me? I haven't done nothing wrong. We
Yeah.
try to do our thing.
Right.
You don't, if you don't like it, that's fine. But yeah, they didn't leave us alone.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of um, stress.
Yeah.
And I was so stressed and, frustrated. At the same time, I could not believe it. I was like, I'm a big adult woman. I never thought I'll get bullied like this. And I was like, I just froze.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize that had been part of your journey.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
So it was a big thing. And we launched a Kickstarter page. That's a crowdfunding platform. And, before we publish our game, we wanted to make sure that there is enough demand. Also, we raise enough funds to do a mass production.
Yeah.
And a lot of negative comment impacted a lot of backers and supporters that we had more than 150 cancellations.
Yeah.
And all these people who tried to support us initially during the 30-day campaign started to drop off. It's like, wow, it's not good. We really need to make sure that we meet our funding goal, and also we have enough numbers, and so we can manufacture and move forward in our process. And I was very stressed. I was like, oh my God, what should I do? And negative comments. And it was very, very depressing
Mm.
each morning to wake up to see a negative comments on board game geeks and Facebooks and everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm doing my best. Everyone's doing, their best in that team. So even thinking about it, it's like my heart, is aching. It was very stressful this year. It was February this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And how did you cope? Like, what were you, what's going on in your mind at the time?
So I think I thought about a lot of business strategies. It's like, okay, what do I have to have? Okay, now we have a daily, like a marketing triangles, and you have to have a delivery. Also, you have to have a good product. You have to have the influence. Okay, what's missing? Missing the influence. So let's get more, influencers on board to make sure it's working. But I'm doing actions, but my heart is so sunk so deeply. It's like I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, watching Alex Moses and all these business people to try to inspire myself and try to come up with the strategies. But it was very difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you went through that.
Oh, yeah. Now I can look back and say that's a good experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's gone. I'm not gonna stay in the bottom, but it was a good experience. But back then it was very depressing 30 days.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, it was like 5 days to go or 3 days to go. I thought about, okay,
3 days of the campaign to go.
yeah, 3 days to finish. And then I thought, okay, what can I do? And what is my strength? What is my unique skill or networks? And because board games a brand new industry that I just, started, I didn't have any people, a lot of networks with me. I didn't know anybody. What I had was a Japanese community, my clients, my, consultants, my friends. So my friends can help me. So I said to all my friends, can you help me? And they are like, oh, I didn't know you needed help. Of course we'll help you. So
Mm.
I had more than 200 friends came on board and supported me on Kickstarter.
Right.
So
Wow.
it was great. Last 3 days, we increased from 260 backers, 250 backers to 450 backers.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
So
last 3 days the number increased, and
yeah.
everyone was just wishing me good luck and supporting and sharing my project with their friends, people that I don't know, supported me through the network of my friends. So
Okay.
I was like blown away by the support that I got.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So you finished the Kickstarter campaign, and you'd say, although there were trials and tribulations, it was a success in the end.
And yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so what did that mean? Like, so what did that Kickstarter campaign actually do? So did it prove the concept would work?
Yes, so
People,
we have backers and also the funding to do the mass production. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Excellent. And so
Mm.
where did you go from there? And then what are we talking? Is this March? Are we into March of this year then?
Yes, so yeah, so that's that. And then after that, again, producing a physical, product is hard. So we have miniatures and custom cards that we do. We turning people into powerful shoguns, and
Yeah.
then we're creating a card that they can use in their own games.
I
So,
love that, by the way.
creating custom cards, so all that stuff we are doing, and we paid manufacturers. So they started the mold process for the miniatures and paper samples and everything for the mass production at
Okay.
this moment.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we are expected to deliver in August this year, few
Okay.
months away.
All right. Yeah. So this is the first delivery.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
And how has it been? Like, you're still collecting orders, people can still buy.
Yes, 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 of course. If you go to our Kickstarter, you can see all about our game. And not, well, we haven't actually officially announced, but we are working on expansion as well. So
Okay.
different, if you have the base game, this is a base game, it's a pretty big game, it's more than 200 cards in it.
Yeah.
You can use some of the cards and, the expansion pack to create a brand new game that you can play. So
Okay.
it's been exciting and fun, as well as manufacturing. But yeah, if you go to Kickstarter, you can read about our game, and then also, click late pledges, and you can still buy the game. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to put all of those details in the for anyone listening or watching on YouTube. What has been the biggest sort of takeaway for this journey that you've been on? Because it sounds like a remarkable journey, really.
yeah.
To think you were.
So again, it's the same lesson that I learned again. So as a financial advisor, I realized my environment was wrong. Right?
Yeah.
This time, I think it's the same thing. Try to create the typical board game for board gamers who do not accept how we make the game.
Yeah.
I was in a wrong environment.
Right.
And now I'm focusing on niche game. So it's not for typical board gamers, but let's say we are creating a property game for people who's interested in properties, or the financial games for kids. All these games are specific market that they are not a typical board gamer, but for educational purposes.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to other business people who might want to turn their ideas into games. So
Yeah.
I have one firefighter who in Japan, who is very passionate about saving kids and elder people, older people, from dying from heat in the summer.
Yeah.
And he said it's silly that people die from heat. It's a simple, basic understanding, and they don't need to die.
Yeah.
So I said, well, in Melbourne, we have we had a massive campaign which Metro did. It's called "Dumb Ways to Die." I don't know
Okay.
if you know that.
No,
It was a song, and it's a cute characters, and actually there is a game called "Dumb Ways to Die."
okay.
And a little ideas how to save yourself can be a game.
Mm.
So then that's a very specific niche. But helping firefighters or rescue people, educating small kids about safety and how to be safe and protect, themselves.
Mm.
So my environment will change
Yeah.
after I delivering the game, this, Ninja's game. I think it will focus more on targeted niche, environment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
So
will you
yeah,
be
that.
creating the games with the people coming up with the ideas, or are you going to teach people how to create their own board games?
Mhm. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, we can run workshops. But I have a business partner and in Gaia Games. He is a genius in creating games.
Yeah.
So he has created a property game and, other financial games and other, easy fun games for kids as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I'm helping, firefighter in Japan creating his own games as well. So um, that's my idea. And also my son yesterday came to me and said, hey, I had an incursion and some expert came and talked to us about the endangered animals, and then I have to save clouded leopard. That's my project. So I have to come up with an idea and help leopards. It's like, okay, why don't we create a game? Of course, I would say it right. Of course. So I was working with my son, creating a game about endangered animals.
Yeah.
And just, any idea can be a game once you know how to create a game. It
Yeah.
has to be fun, it has to be visually appealing
Hmm.
and well balanced. But
Yeah.
once you master that, anything can be an amazing game. So, I'm now excited about those little projects that I'm taking on.
And I love the education. I have a 24-year-old daughter, and there's a lot that I've learned in terms of parenting. Your kid, you can tell your kids a whole bunch of stuff, but your children are actually watching you demonstrate a way of being, going from having this idea and this commitment to creating something out of nothing, which is, a phenomenal education, really, and watching you go through the ebbs and flows of what it took to get that creation to where it is now, like all the pitfalls, like you said, the roller coaster and the ups and downs, to get to a place where you finished it. It's there, it's in the market. And I just think the education that you have given those children by just demonstrating your leadership, and what you're doing is remarkable. And I really want to acknowledge you for that, because
Thank you.
I'm just, yeah, I'm blown away by it and getting emotional as you can hear.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important, like as parents, that we can instill by doing, and be that model for our kids. So well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's just about having fun. I think we become too serious to square, I guess, sometimes, and
Yeah.
being fluid and flexible,
Mm.
having fun. I think being a game creator or game publisher is a very creative space to be in,
Yeah.
and it's very different from financial advisor,
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
So rather than being serious, I think it's about having fun
Yeah.
and sharing the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all about.
And I can really
Mm.
hear that like I've recently discovered, so I'm writing a book, and what I've discovered in the book was very much that I was living from this point of reference of what's wrong with me. And what I've discovered is that when I shift into a different paradigm of what I'm living from, the world completely changes,
Mm.
and I can hear that you've come from this place, in what you've shared today of like, I don't belong, to then creating environments where you do belong, rather than just to continue to live from I don't belong, and like when you talk about the environments that you're going into, so the financial planning and finding Japanese people, to sell to, or with the board game, finding people who are interested in not your typical boring stock standard stuff, but the innovative stuff, the new stuff, and finding those environments where people are receptive. And I think that's important. I think that's important in both business and life, because, there's almost this desperation in people to try and be normal, and
no one's normal. Let me tell you, no one's normal.
I've been saying this my whole life. What's the definition of normal anyway? And just because everyone's doing it doesn't make it right, and you want to be able to find your tribe. You want to be able to find your own groove and live from that place. So
you don't need a lot of people, to support you. You just have to have few that you can connect and be honest with, and they are genuinely there for you. And if you have that, that's all you need. You don't need hundreds of friends. But I think because of the social media and everything is so superficial, you feel like you have to do certain things and look and be. But if you can find one good friend that accept you for who you are, that's great. That's all you need. And what I think is, no one's perfect, but everyone's perfect. We all born this way, and that's who we are, and accept that, and just have few good friends and do your best. That's all you can do. I think that my life is not about myself, but it's about myself, that having fun to share that experience with people. If that helps people, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And so everyone's different, and that's great, right? That makes it fun, this world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kyoko. You've shared an amazing amount of pearls of wisdom with us, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Keep us posted with how you go and what new games you're coming up with, and we'll definitely publish that out. And if people want to get in touch with you, if they've been inspired and moved by what you've shared, how can they do that?
Oh, I'm on Facebook most of the time. So if you can message me, I will respond. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
Really, such a blessing for me to be here and, speaking to such an amazing woman like you as well. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave me a comment and let me know what was your biggest takeaway. And if while you were listening, somebody popped into your mind and you know that they would benefit from listening to this, be sure to send the link to them. This series is just getting started, so go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when our next episode drops. If you liked what you heard and you want to know more, be sure to check out the show notes, and over the next coming weeks, I'll have some giveaways for you too. In the meantime, I want to thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.